So we, at one point, out of affection, because our mother can at times be so warm and jovial, we started calling her Toast Mary instead of Rosemary. And then what happened was there was a woman who was sort of like an acquaintance, but sort of made herself a little more familiar. I think she thought she was better friends with my mom than she was, which is kind of weird and sad. But she started calling her Ro, which is a nickname we've never, like, no one has ever called Rosemary Ro. It's always been Rosemary, maybe Rosie, maybe Rose. So she started calling her Ro, and we thought that was really funny, so we shortened Toast Mary to Toe. So that's how we got the name. So I'm a lot like my mom. I think that at our worst, we are sad, and we can be challenging. We can be a little bit passive-aggressive, both of us. But at our best, so that's, you know, Rosemary and Brian. But Toe is so much fun. Toe gives the best advice. Toe laughs at life. Everything is new to Toe. We've been going to the same shore house for about 10, 12 years now in Long Beach Island, and 5 years in, we walked in for our summer vacation, and she was going all over the house, like, is this new? Is this new? Nothing was new, like nothing. And she thought someone had come and like redecorated the whole place. So that is Toe. But the thing about Toe is that Toe, as with I've inherited this, Toe is not so good in her own crises, and neither am I. She tends to be flustered and to want someone else to fix it for her, and I've inherited that. When it's not her crisis, she gives some really fucking good advice. It's like something comes over her, and she just knows the right thing to say. And I think one of the reasons why I've been drawn to Stevie Nicks is that there's something in Stevie Nicks' music that has always reminded me a little bit of my mom. It's sort of, she's fragile and she's not afraid of heartache, but there's always this underlying theme throughout her music of like, okay, this really fucking sucks and I'm really sad and this is the worst thing right now, but it's not going to be the worst thing ever and I'm going to be okay. So I remember my mom likes to get up really early, or she used to.
She still does.
And it only recently occurred to me that maybe she was getting up really early before everyone else to have time to herself. But when I was a kid, I took to sort of getting up with her and we would spend time together. Sorry if you were trying to get away from me, but...
Little vibe killer, probably.
Yeah. So we would get up really early and we would watch like, you know, Action News at 6 a.m. and drink coffee and whatever. And I remember one day she told me the story. I don't even remember where it came from, but I think I asked her if she had been to college. I think it was around the time when I was getting ready to try and figure out if I wanted to go to school or not. And she said no. And she said, but I did go to beauty school. I was going to be a hairdresser. And I had this was like a total revelation to me. I had no idea. And she told me the story about how I think you have to do a certain number of hours to complete your certification, and she was something like 4 hours away. She was like so close. And she told me about how a really nasty customer came in and didn't like what she did, and so she just, I could be telling this story wrong, but I'm elaborating because I'm picturing Toe in the situation, but she just sort of had it. She like slammed down all her equipment and walked out and never went back. And she told me, you know, like in the moment that's how she wanted to respond, and I get that from her too. I can be very reactive. But she said, you know, I've always sort of regretted that. She's like, besides the fact that she left her really expensive, nice scissors and all that equipment, you know, she actually really loved doing that, and she just sort of turned away and never looked back. And that story always comes back to me when I'm in a situation where I feel like something's too hard and I want to just give it up. I remember that and I hear Toe's voice in my ear just saying, you know, like, stop and think before you react. So let's all raise a glass to Toe. Stowe. Cheers, Stowe. This song is for you.